powers of the deep earth.
I feel the Shona stirring.
Embrace the ancient call. Aperitas voltas in Libro.
I'm so scared. You to tell me everything.
She thought getting into a prestigious school was the hardest part, but no one warned her about the darkness lurking beneath its walls. This is the story of Ifeoma Okoye, the girl who was drawn into a secret no student was meant to see. 15-year-old Ifeoma Okoye had always been diligent and hardworking. She came from a modest home in Lagos, where her parents worked tirelessly to provide her education. Every morning, she walked through the crowded streets, clutching her worn school bag, dreaming of the prestigious boarding school she had earned a scholarship to. She had hoped that getting into this school would be the hardest challenge of her life, but she was about to discover it was only the beginning. The campus shimmered with wealth and luxury. Designer bags, polished shoes, and high-tech gadgets surrounded her. Students whispered, laughed, and stared. Ifeoma felt small and invisible among them. Among the students was Chisom, the daughter of a billionaire businessman. She was confident, beautiful, and commanding. Students parted as she walked, and a subtle aura of danger seemed to follow her. Chisom noticed Ifeoma immediately, the quiet, diligent girl, and smiled in a way that made Ifeoma's stomach twist. Chisom began with small gestures, compliments, invitations to private study sessions, subtle guidance in classwork, but her attention soon carried a darker undertone. "You're clever," she whispered one evening by the fountain, "but intelligence alone won't make you powerful. I can teach you things no one else will ever understand." Curiosity and pride fled in Ifeoma. She had always wanted to belong, to be noticed, to feel capable beyond her humble beginnings. Chisom promised her influence over teachers, classmates, and even the social hierarchy of the school. For the first time, Ifeoma felt like she could be seen, admired, even feared. One evening, Chisom led her to the edge of the campus, where jagged cliffs hid a narrow crack in the rocks. Beyond it was a stairwell descending deep underground. The air was damp and smelled of earth and decay. At the bottom lay a vast cavern. Shadows danced across jagged rock formations. Candles flickered along the walls, casting eerie shapes across the stone floor. Around the glowing circle, students cloaked in black chanted in low voices. "Follow my instructions exactly," Chisom whispered, handing her a worn ritual book. "Touch the herbs, repeat the words, and you'll feel the power." Ifeoma obeyed, her hands trembling and her heart hammering. For a moment, she felt a thrill, something strange and dark coursing through her body. By the next day, teachers praised her unusually, classmates whispered her name with awe, and she began to taste the intoxicating allure of power. During the day, Ifeoma's school life became a mixture of admiration and unease. Some students envied her sudden rise, while friends began drifting away, uneasy with the strange aura she carried. Late at night, she would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, hearing faint whispers and imagining shadows moving in the corners of her dorm room. Yet Chisom's influence kept pulling her back. "Power requires commitment," she would say. Weeks later, Chisom guided Ifeoma deeper into the underground labyrinth. The cavern was colder now, with faint scratching sounds echoing from the walls. The ritual grew more complex. She had to memorize incantations, handle strange herbs and powders, and trace intricate symbols with her fingers. Senior members circled her, chanting in voices that sounded almost inhuman. After the ritual, Ifeoma noticed subtle advantages: extra time on assignments, classmates showing deference, and teachers praising her work more than before. But fear was beginning to creep in. The cavern seemed alive, whispering and shifting around her, watching her every move. The next visit took her even deeper. Water dripped from the jagged rocks, echoing like sinister laughter through the cavern. The chamber was massive, lined with stalagmites and glowing fungi. Masked figures surrounded her, chanting in harmony that made her blood run cold. Chisom's voice was insistent. Power demands sacrifice. Are you ready? Ifeoma obeyed, but terror gnawed at her soul. Shadows seemed to slither along the walls, murmuring her name. That night, nightmares haunted her, falling endlessly into the cavern surrounded by chanting figures, flickering candlelight everywhere. The thrill she had felt at first was gone, replaced by fear she couldn't ignore. Another week, another descent. The underground chamber now felt alive, oppressive, as if the stones themselves were watching her. The senior coven members demanded full commitment. Their chanting echoed through the cavern like a living thing.
Arise, powers of the deep earth.
I feel the shona stirring.
Embrace the ancient call.
Ifeoma began to see the cost of the power she had sought. Friends she had lost, nights she could not sleep, the dread that followed her everywhere. She realized she was being consumed by the darkness she had once craved. Terrified, exhausted, and desperate, she finally fled to the school counselor. Her clothes were soaked from the underground cavern, her hands shaking violently. I've done things I shouldn't, she admitted, her voice trembling. I don't know how to stop. The counselor listened patiently. She explained the dangers of manipulation, superstition, and peer pressure, and guided Ifeoma to reflect on her values. True power comes from knowledge, courage, and integrity, not fear or shortcuts, she said. Ifeoma began refusing Chisom's invitations. She returned the ritual book, rebuilt friendships, and threw herself into her studies. Every attempt to lure her back to the cavern was met with firm refusal. Slowly, confidence and joy returned. If you want to see how Ifeoma finally escapes the underground coven and discovers her real strength, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the ending. Months passed. Ifeoma's grades soared, achieved through her own effort. Respect returned, this time genuine. She realized that shortcuts, fear, and superstition could never replace hard work, integrity, and courage. Even Chisom remained popular, but Ifeoma no longer envied her. She had discovered a kind of strength far greater than any dark ritual: the courage to make her own choices, the wisdom to walk away from evil, and the power that comes from self-respect and perseverance. On her final day at school, sunlight spilled across the campus, glinting off the jagged rocks that hid the caverns. Ifeoma walked across the courtyard with her head held high, smiling. She had survived the shadows, the whispers, and the darkness beneath the school, and emerged stronger, wiser, and unbreakable. Through her experience, she had learned lessons she would carry for life. Peer pressure and manipulation are dangerous, even disguised as opportunity. True respect and influence are earned through integrity and effort. Seeking help is a sign of strength, and courage to walk away from darkness is the ultimate power. Education, perseverance, and self-respect outweigh shortcuts or superstition every time.